I wrote moisturizer, moisture.
There we go. As promised, 7 o'clock. We're live. John and Jess is sitting at the boathouse down there chilling. I'm in the house here at the desk. Let's let some people get on here.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah. We'll let some people get on here and make a few comments. Hopefully everybody can see us on here. I haven't seen nobody jump on yet. There goes one. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear us. I see one person jumped on here real quick. There we go. They got the notification we went live. There, they start clicking away now. I'm just making sure I didn't mess anything up on my end because it's easy for me to do.
Like the first show we ever tried to do, Shane.
Oh, man. Hey, man, guys, if y'all, the first show we tried to do back in February, hey, there's old Don. He said good afternoon. He can hear us. There's old Holden. He's down there holding it down in Louisiana. Y'all doing all right, guys? Everybody good? Yeah, everybody's saying hey now. So they starting to click away now, John.
Good deal.
Yep. There's old Chad Selman. He come in off YouTube. That's good to know YouTube's working. There's a lot of people that watch it on YouTube. Look at old Kendall. Kendall said we come a long way. We have from that first show. Hey, Kendall, I was sweating bullets that first show. I was talking. I couldn't get John on here, and I was sweating bullets just, till we got some folks on here, and they started asking questions, kind of, made me a little comfortable. Kendall, I had to have a beer after that show. I was sweating it out.
I felt bad. I was sitting there watching.
Well, it was before we used this StreamYard, guys. We tried to go off Facebook, and I tried to invite John and Jessica on. It was a disaster. It was it was bad. But heck, we'll figure it out, man. We enjoy it. We having fun. So, old Chad Gillen said, "What's up, y'all? The heat is coming." Somebody told me we're gonna have a mild summer. You heard anything about that, John?
It's been a pleasure to go fishing in so far.
Yeah, I know. I know it's been in the 80s, so.
Yeah, today it was super breezy today. I mean, you had to earn it today. We had a pretty brisk wind. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I got to go out on a pretty cool boat.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead and tell you about the boat you went out on, John. People want to hear about that stuff.
Okay, so one of my good buddies, he just bought a new X21 Express X21,
right?
And it's got a 300 on it, and I mean, that's a lot of motor for a 21-foot aluminum boat.
Oh yeah.
And he got it decked out now. He's got a 12-inch Garmin at the dash, a 15-inch Humminbird at the dash. He's got 12-22 Garmin up front for live scope, another 12-inch Garmin up front for map, and he's got a I want to think it's a 10-inch Helix up front, talking to his 15 Humminbird in the back. I mean, it looks like a Starship.
That's the way to go, Y'all were out just running around getting it all lined up, wasn't
you? And I messed around. He's got that Garmin trolling motor. I played with it some today, and I know Shane uses it all the time. And I enjoyed it. Man, that thing will fly. I mean, if you
trolling motor, that Garmin I've got, it will run.
I'm used to that Minn Kota Oil-Trex, but that Garmin will move. And I'll give Garmin the props on this for sure. The deployment of that trolling motor and pulling it in is a breeze compared to that Oil-Trex.
Yeah, they got that little that cylinder assist. So
there's things I like about the Oil-Trex, and there's things I like about that Garmin trolling motor. But
I'm curious to see, when Minn Kota comes out with their brushless motor, if they're gonna upgrade some stuff. I know it may be a while, but I'm curious, if they come out with, since they're coming out with a brushless motor, like the Garmin Force and the Lowrance Ghost, it's brushless. I'm just curious when Minn Kota comes out with theirs. There's old Uncle Mel. He's saying hello.
Hey, Mel.
Oh, Mel, he don't. I seen him cooking fish. That sorry sucker. Last night, I think it was Mel was doing that. I can't remember. He went out and caught him some fish, and he was frying them up yesterday.
I'm taking a little boy fishing over by Mel's house in the morning.
There you go.
Yep.
I hope to chase some brim, aren't you?
We're gonna try to mess with the brim and the crappie.
That's good. Yeah, we got some people tuning in. Hey, Country Boy 1206. He said, "Hey, Mr. Shane, this is Channing. Hey, buddy. He coming in on YouTube. That's awesome." Dace is coming in on YouTube. We got some people coming on YouTube. That's nice. There's old Kari. I spoke with him today. He's coming in from Georgia. We got Louisiana, Georgia. That's good.
We just need to get another. We need to get another country in there, like Canada or something.
Hey, who knows? Hey, heck. But hey, we're gonna. I'm glad you brought that up, Holden. We're gonna talk about that big fish tournament this weekend. John and I, we didn't fish together, but we fished that big fish tournament, and it was that cold front had them fish biting weird. And John described where he went and how he caught his fish, and then I'll probably second his same opinion. So, old Tommy's saying, "Hey, old Tommy Randolph." But John, tell everybody how you end up catching your fish, because it wasn't a problem catching fish, but it was just, go ahead and describe what we had a cold front condition, which it was 50-something degrees Saturday morning.
Right. It was cool first thing that morning. I hadn't told Shane the whole truth, actually. He come.
Here it comes.
So it was the first tournament that I'd ever fished with away from Jessica. She and I always fish tournaments together.
That's right.
And my buddy Scott, what'd you say you didn't want to?
I didn't want to get up early on my weekend off.
Yeah,
I was sleeping
to chill out. Yeah, because John got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and drove to Camden. So.
Yeah, I did. We got up early.
And I had company here too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You had a friend. I remember when your girlfriends came up.
So we started out fishing the timber, and man, the fish had a bad attitude about them.
Yeah, they did.
And we had some fish. The way that you can weigh a fish in every hour is you really got to. You don't know who's weighing in fish or whatever. Like, we could have weighed in 2 of the times and hit the money, and just didn't realize it.
I wish they had a live leaderboard like they posted every half hour or something.
Yeah.
Why
if somebody does it in the future, that'd be awesome. Like, say, hey,
back and forth, from where you're at.
Yeah, what it was is, like I said, you had to weigh it in every hour. You didn't know if it was worth running in to weigh your 160 or pound and 3/4 fish. So
That's right.
Go ahead, John. You was fishing September. What else was going on?
All right, so we were fishing timber, and I fell back out in the channel, and I saw some floaters out there, and I said, "Man, that's a crappie right there." And my buddy Scott, he despises the long pole, and it was so muddy in there where those fish were in the channel that you could cast to them, and they wouldn't recognize. If they did, they couldn't stay with it. So I took that 14-foot outlaw pole, and I'll just get close to it, set it on them, and hold it and do a little vibration until they realized it was on them.
Right.
And once they did, they turn up and come get it. But it was just dead. We were having to dead stick those fish because it was so muddy. You know where I'm talking about.
It was colored in there bad. It looked like cardboard. It really was.
It was really muddy, and we just. I wish we kind of would have stayed in there from the start to the finish, but. The biggest fish we caught was in there, and it wasn't good enough for a check when we went and weighed it in. Scott Mitchell knocked it out by like 5/100ths of a pound, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, he cast a few checks. Him and them kids, buddy, they did. They did good. I think he said he had 7 checks, from the tournament. So they did really good.
What won it?
198.
198 or 199 won it, but there really wasn't. There was a 198 holding and a 199, and then it went down to 160s and 150s and 140s.
Right. So 199 was the youth winner, and then the 198 was the overall winner.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, the girl, Travis Hudson's daughter, Faith, she won with that 199, so she did good. It was fun. Me and Joe Allen, we went down river, and man, we cracked some fish quick, but. Hey, wasn't none of them worth anything. We had 1.25 pound fish, so it was. But hey, the big fish would come up and they just kiss you bait and go right back down. And I was like, what? You know, they just had a bad attitude, like John said. And, you know, you change colors, you add scent, you try to do everything you can. If I'd had some minnows with me, believe it or not, I would have put it on their nose and found out, because I knew the fish were there. They just, like you said, I don't know if John can tell you, I think the cold weather, the cold fronts in the summer mess with them big fish more than it does the other fish, you know, the smaller fish to me. I don't know, you know, but they sure had a bad attitude. You're right.
Terrible.
Terrible attitude. And, you know,
well, I mean,
I love live scope as much as anybody, but just like yesterday, I went late yesterday evening with a plumber, one of our sponsors, Alpha Plumber, right there. I went with D. Those fish were they just wanted to look. You know, you'd have to really throw that bait in there and just not even move it, and just take the slack out of your line for them to come up and grab it. I mean, they just didn't want to put a lot of effort into chasing or nothing. So it's crazy.
And I don't, honestly, where I started, you know, I'd heard some people catching a bunch of fish in there, and I just didn't see the numbers in there to support the numbers of fish people had been catching in there.
Right.
I think that cold front had moved them, pushed them down, or moved them back out, or it really, the quantity of fish was not in there.
Right. Well, you know, I've heard that, you know, you don't catch a lot of cold fronts, what I call a cold front in the summer a lot. I mean, that whole weekend, Memorial Day weekend, it was cold. It was 55 one morning when I was out there. I don't know what it was tournament morning. It was cool. I mean, it was real cool. Like I said, you know, then John, I guess you went fishing there not far from the house there. When was that? Yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday, we had some guys.
You called all those, yeah. You carried some people from the marina.
Well, yeah, they I think they bought 2 bow fishing boats from the boat dealership, and I guess it's a good time as ever to announce we got a new sponsor for CrappieKast.
Oh yeah,
and Delusion
Marine.
Right
here you go, John. They sponsored John's boat, been sponsoring John's boat, but they jumped on board. They're right down there by John. There it is, right there.
So Andalusia Marine, they pride themselves. A lot of people like to run those stick steer boats. They feel comfortable in them. They're known as the stick steer headquarters. You know, if you want a stick steer boat, but it's just not that. They've got express boats. They've got pontoon boats. They've got ski boats, and they've just started another smaller line of aluminum boats. I'll have more information about the exact.
It's what they call all whales. What are they? I know you sent me some pictures.
They're all whales, and they make a 1860 ultimate panfish boat that people just fall in love with if they like that stick steer boat. The express boats like I fish out of, that X19 and that X21 that I went on today, they sell those. They've got a wide variety, and they've got some boats in stock right now. If you want a center console or, you know, a fishing boat, they've got a good amount in stock. I'm going to go up and try to do a video up there.
There you go. Yeah,
just go over the inventory of what they got and post it. But we're glad to have them on.
Oh yeah, big time. Like I said, they've been sponsoring you for the last couple of years, right, John?
They have. It's like I said, it's Andalusia Marine in Andalusia, Alabama, on River Falls Street. They also
down there in South Alabama. So if you're in Florida or right there in Central Florida, the Panhandle, there it is.
Shane, they have people that come. Some of those boats are made in Arkansas. They'll have people drive past the plant because they can't buy a boat. They have to come pick it up from Andalusia, you know, because they can't buy directly from the factory.
That's awesome.
So I've taken people out on electronics trips from Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, you know, Georgia. They people come in from all over, and they're a full service dealership. Electronics, boat repair. I mean, they rig out some of the most awesome bow fishing boats that you will ever see. I'm talking about people coming. That guy and his son, stepson, and stepson's girlfriend. They're from South Florida, and they've bought 2 of the bow fishing boats. They when I say they're the wizards, as far as rigging up those lights and the stuff on those
that's cool
bow fish boats. But here's the deal: the guy, the manager, Josh, he's a bow fishing charter captain.
There you go.
The guy that rigs those bow fishing boats, bow fishing charter captain. So you know what I'm saying? You're getting the most knowledge and bang for your buck dealing with those guys.
We're happy to have them on board, guys. Andalusia Marine, Andalusia, Alabama. They've been behind John and Jessica for the last couple of years. They jumped on board, and we appreciate them. Let's see. I've seen some comments coming in here. Let's see. Oh, Byron Weiss is on here. Let's see. Byron said he had 1860. Oh, let's see. Brandon said I fished Jones Bluff on Alabama this past weekend. Caught a pile of small fish, 3 to 6 inches. Where do you catch your eater fish on Alabama creeks or Main River? Brandon, I haven't caught a lot on the Main River, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying Jones Bluff, but I know those fish now. The old timers tell me when that water at Selma gets 18, 19 feet, that the river slows down and that Main River turns on. And I seen a Chris Blunt caught some 246 earlier this week. So hopefully that means those fish are moving on those big stumps. John likes to fish those Main River stumps. So he's known to catch a lot of fish off those things.
That's Brandon Fulgham?
Yeah.
He's that's what I'm thinking about. He's a guide on over at Grenada.
I don't know. That's a different one. No.
Different one. Okay. All right. Same name.
Same name though. There's a guy named that on Grenada.
Yeah.
That sure is, Brandon. You share the name with a guy at Grenada. You're right about that.
Shane, Justin said we had a question. Somebody asked if the heat would stop the crappie.
Oh yeah, let me go back up there. I'm sorry, I did see that. There's Don. I'm sorry, Don. Let's go back up to him. It doesn't slow me down in most places, Don. Bankhead, Holt, up here. Oh yeah. But from Lock 8 on down in that muddy water, the Warrior, the Tom Bigby, if you can find them, they'll bite. I mean, down there where John, y'all caught how many yesterday, John?
A pile of fish.
Yeah, it was a bunch.
So here's what I found is the black crappie, it affects more than the white crappie during the summer. They get harder to catch. So you'll see if you fish in a place with both of them, your white crappie numbers will go up. Like I know like places like Lake Eufaula, and I'm talking about the one on Alabama Georgia line.
Right.
Gets tougher when it gets harder. Places like Lake Martin get tougher. Those places that are predominantly black crappie, the bite gets tougher. So what you want to do is if you can fish at night and find some fish on lights or go out with lights, you know, start doing some night fishing or go first thing at daylight, and you'll have better success, or go late in the afternoon.
Yeah, I've seen. I think you're right. That bright sun, the heat. The live scope does have a night color mode. I've seen it on there. I didn't realize it does, but I guess that's what it's for, John.
Yes, it is. If you've ever put in or before daylight and you're like, golly, my screen is garbage. You know,
it's a little dull. You're right.
And you know, we've sat there before and like, oh, please let us get a little light, because you know I didn't want to swap it over to anything. We're getting ready to fish a tournament, but
let's see. But like you said, John, the blackfish slow down. The whitefish, they don't seem to mind near as much. The blackfish are more sensitive. You know, like you said, late evening, night trips, early in the morning. I know a lot of people putting in way before daylight, going to fish these, you know, some lights or putting out lights, or, you know, or fishing brush piles. You got to deal with the bugs and everything else. So
those white crappie just get out there and spin super shallow during the summer. Like,
they get on them flats, you tell me, down around your house, right?
Yeah, they will, or they'll get in the channel and just float out in the channel and just be 4 to 6 foot deep, or
and then, you know what's crazy, that you could spot them guys on live scope. They're just sitting out there and they're just cruising along. They're not moving real fast. You know, I don't know if they're just snatching up shad or, you know, the bigger fish now. You know, they're not worried about car and everything else out there eating them. So
here at the house yesterday, you talked about us catching those fish. We our Thermocline has really set in, and it's
describe that what it looks like on the live scope, John. Somebody's going to ask. I know. So tell us what it looks like.
On the live scope, you can see a line, and it'll be fuzzier below that line. Like ours is at 10 feet right now. The Thermocline is.
Okay.
It's a lot. There's a lot more. What I've read about it, there's a lot of stuff dying in the or right below the Thermocline. That's what gives you all that particulate that you see below the Thermocline. All right.
Okay.
So, but the most dissolved oxygen is in the Thermocline and right above it. So those crappie are sitting there, and what it does, that Thermocline will push those crappie up. And they're looking for that oxygen. They can breathe better. So, like
Right.
here at the house, I was looking at my waypoints. The blue area on your map is the shallow area, and the white on mine is deeper. So where that white met that blue, if I had a waypoint there, I'd just go look at it, and that's where the fish were.
That's awesome.
And push those fish up, just go, whether it be stump or a small brush pile, whatever. And that's what we did yesterday. It wasn't, we just went from where the blue and white on the map on Navionics mapping came together, and that's what we fished yesterday, and that's where the fish were.
That's awesome. That's a good tip. Like I said, people ask me all the time, and without going into explanation like that, like where I fish a lot, the fish get shallower and stay shallower. They only in certain this time of year. That's when they get there. They're not there in the spring. They're not there in the fall. They're there in the hot summer. I don't know if it's because of springs coming out of a lot of artesian wells down there, the springs, or putting more oxygen in there, or what. But there goes the boat by.
Oh, another way to see that Thermocline, if you've got your down imaging, you can really see it distinctively on it.
Okay.
And it makes a clear line. If you just want to find where it's at. But so my friend Greg and I, we were fishing today. We fished one part of the lake. It was another lake, not the one we fished yesterday, and it was at 10 foot. We got closer. We got closer toward the dam, and it was at like 13 and a half. Oh. And I don't know if it was because it was muddier up in one part of the lake and less muddy at the other part, but it wasn't the same level.
Right. Yeah, so we're getting ready, and we're going to talk about one of our new sponsors too, because this is all leading up to it. When these whitefish get out in the channel and get suspended, hey, when you can run a little faster and stop and fish for them, it's a big deal. John, you've had paddles on your boat and a trolling motor on your rear for a while, but Chad Clifton, me and him spoke this week, and here we go. Power Brakes, the game changer. They come on board. I spoke with him a long time last night. I pre-ordered mine a month ago, and got all the brackets in, got the trolling motor. He's sending me some the transom plate, the jack plate mounts, and they're coming in, man. But these things, they say it's game changer, and I'm ready to put them on my boat and run them. I'll make a video, but they've got a breakaway system. You can zoom in right there where the trolling motor mounts in that bracket. There's 2 Carter keys, and they actually snap if you hit something substantial, a stump or anything. You can replace them. So that's the big. They've been testing these things out for a year and a half, and people's been using them and breaking stuff on them. And I appreciate Chad coming on board. Like I said, Chad Clifton, the Power Brakes, the game changer, they're on board with CrappieKast now, and I'm going to be putting them on my boat next week, and I'm looking forward to running a little faster and stopping and pitching on those fish on timber and open water. But appreciate Chad and Power Brakes coming on, though. That's going to be nice for me, because I'd get in a hurry, and guys, I blow back to it's hard for me to stop and turn my trolling motor around, and I get in a hurry and do it all the time. So that's going to be big.
Shane, we had one guy said he's not getting our notifications anymore.
I don't know. I see Steve Tidmore saying that. I'll have to check on that.
Tell everybody how to get that notification.
Steven, he's asking Steven. I'm sure you follow Shane Jones Fishing. If you follow the page, it should give you notifications. I'll find out if it isn't. I think everybody else, it should be sending them out to you when we go live. But Steven, I'll have to check into that. But make sure I'm sure you like the page.
Yeah, it didn't pop up. It didn't pop up when we went live tonight on.
Normally I get it.
Okay, that's weird.
It might be something new we need to change up.
I need to dive into that, guys, and let y'all. If you're not getting it, it should get a notification. I'll check into it, guys, this week for sure. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you didn't get a notification, Stephen, but I will address that and try to get into seeing. Don said it sent him one tonight, so that's.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, Don said he got one, so heck, we'll try to get it. Hey, we'll talk about a hot bait I got, and this is a hot bait I've been catching them on, right here. Look, Lemons tackle. That is a blue.
I thought you said hot date.
I thought you said hot date.
Hot tip, no date. I got a date with y'all tonight right here, but Lemons tackle. You all see that? That is a blue monkey milk stinger. I've been throwing on that. What's left of a chartreuse head. I don't think any fish have been chewing on that at all. But I've been catching a lot of fish on that bait, guys. Lemons tackle. Steve's come on board with us, and John and Jessica have been using them for a while. And I've got some more on the way, man. Hopefully they get here. That's a little 1.5 inch stinger tail from Lemons tackle. I'll put the information in the comments, but Chad said he thought I had a hot date too, but I said I might have said hot date. I don't know.
Hey, Shane, I had those guys from South Florida on the boat yesterday, and we were busting fish, and they were swapping out.
You had three people, right, John?
Yeah, well, I had three. All right, so they were swapping out fish. So, interesting story about the whole deal. So there was the guy, the main guy, and it was his stepson and the stepson's girlfriend. So she gets up front, starts fishing, and immediately she's just like, she can shoot the jigs, she can do it. I said, you must be an athlete, you know. She's like, yeah, I grew up playing basketball. I was a shooting guard and I play in low post. I said, you ain't tall enough to be playing low post. She said, I was pretty mean. And I said, okay. So then she said, then I found out I like to play rugby. I said, what?
Rugby, like, whoa.
So she's a rugby player. But anyway, going back to limits tackle and the baits. So we're just whooping on the fish and we're not swapping out the plastic at all.
That is a big key to it right there, guys.
The guy says, he said, I gotta ask, what plastic are you throwing? I said, it's a man from Texas that owns Limits Tackle. I said, you can catch a limit. When I say a limit, you can catch 30 crappie on one plastic.
Yeah, Steve Gonalves. I say his name right sometimes. Yeah, the C's silent in his name, and it's but he might. That's a little bait right here, little black chartreuse. But I'm telling y'all guys, you have problems getting a hook through that, but it's still soft. It's a weird texture, but it's tough. I mean, I'm sitting there pulling on that bait. You see me stretching it. But until that thing really tears 30, 40 fish later, I mean, and I'm rough on stuff, so I'm banging in trees and yanking on it. But Lemons tackle has been good. Corey was asking me, those brakes sure do look nice. What kind of battery setup do you need to run? Corey, I'm hooking on I got lithiums, but I'm hooking to my trolling motor battery. So, you know, you're not running the big motor in those two in the back at the same time. So you're basically just got a pedal switch. You're going to hit, and they're going to run wide open and stop you, and then you let off. And so both the trolling motors are not running at the same time. But I run lithiums, and you can run them on regular lead batteries also. But
they're going to pull off. They're going to pull off the 12-volt side. So
exactly.
You'll have to pull off one of your batteries if you got a 24-volt system.
Right.
But I'm only using one. Eventually I'm gonna go and to get with power brakes because he's doing something that I want to do. So you're not always gonna want to use those power brakes. You get in some timber, thick timber.
Right.
You don't want things to be hitting all the time. So I want to be able to use my power poles and paddles and stop my boat, stabilize my boat, and then have those power brakes separate in addition to that.
Right.
So
I think that's you already got the power pole, so there's no sense of them off. You know, you just need something to add to them, like you were saying.
Right. I've been waiting for somebody to come out with what they're coming out with, so you can come in off your brackets.
Right. What it is, if you look, you can zoom in, guys. There's some that come off your jack plate, and John's wanting to have some come off his power pole brackets. And the good thing about Chad and them, they can make anything you want coming off of that thing. So that you'll be able to adapt it and change them like that.
That makes sense. But I don't know. When I'm out fun fishing, I'm not necessarily wanting to use those rear trolling motors all the time. You know, I'm not necessarily as worried about throwing prop wash. You know, I'm just having a good time catching fish.
That's right.
Move on. Now you get to where you're doing stuff competitively. You don't want to mess up a presentation on one fish. You want to try to fish clean.
Hey,
we
John,
hate that statement, fish clean, because everybody gets on the stage on a tournament and says, like, fish clean.
I want to say, I fished dirty today.
We fished dirty. We got slime all over ourselves.
Hey,
we caught
exactly.
a bunch of fish.
Hey, John, you remember me telling you the fella I carried fishing, and he called Steve and ordered some about 35, 50 packs. There he is right there. I carried Chad. We went on a guide trip and caught fish, and he said he spent $180 with them next day. Oh, man.
Oh, here.
This
is a really good tip. All right, so if you get those rear trolling motors.
Yeah, here's Chad Clifton right here. He said they just put some on Zeke's boat today next to his power poles. Looky there. We were just talking about that, Chad.
All right, so guys, if you get the rear trolling motor, whatever you get that you're going to deploy yourself out the back of the boat. Before you do that, every time, take the key out of your ignition and put it in your cup holder wherever you got to. And the reason why you do that, so you've got to think about this. You're grabbing that key to crank that boat again, and it tells you, "Oh, I need to let these back in."
That's a great tip. That's a great tip,
motor. So every time before you go put those trolling motors out, take the key out of the ignition of the boat, set it somewhere. That way you make yourself go pull those rear trolling motors.
John, tell them why you know this, John.
Yeah. So if you take off with a 200 horsepower engine on a 19-foot boat and you've got a trolling motor out the back, you'll make it about 5 to 10 yards before you snap something.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
Telling you from experience. That's a great tip. Hey, he's saying take your key out. Chad was telling me last night that he took off with his. The other night. That's a great tip. Just when you stop, just drop your key out. If it's hanging there, if you got to fumble that key, to look back there at those trolling motors. That's a great tip. That's an awesome tip.
Put it out. Put the key in the holder, little cup holder, and then fish.
That's smart.
We're on our third, fourth motor, trolling motor.
Yeah, I knew you was on a couple of them. I know you went. I talked to Johnny. He said, well, there went another trolling motor. I was like, I'm glad you ain't got a lot in them because he was just experimenting with it. He's had his on there for a year or so, right, John? Probably.
I have. Yeah. I have. I had a good buddy of mine. He's one of the best fabricators in the country. He can see it and imagine he can build it. And he built me a box
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad, you missed your look. We made a commercial for you power brakes earlier, buddy. We talked them up, and I'm sure you've probably been getting some phone calls. He took some pre-orders for that stuff, and man, I'm sure he got a good bid. I know I was first to jump on it. I think he started the 1st of May, and he's helped me a bunch, man. Like I said, I've talked to him a little bit, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm asking questions. They're supposed to be making a video of people installing them. Him and another guy installing them, which Zeke Anderson on here. There he is. Hey, Zeke, how you doing, buddy? He made a video I seen on his he's got a show on Tuesday nights at 6, catching crappie. I've watched it several times. It's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. He's got one on it's catching crappie. That's his page. It's like 6 o'clock. Then you got Crappie Connection that comes in at 7. So we're all spread out, so nobody gets on anybody's time. So that's the awesome thing about crappie fishing. Everybody's sharing information, everybody's sharing products, and everybody's got opinions, and that's great. And we all get along. So
Zeke's a good guy. You meet him in person, he's always got a smile on his face.
Let's see what Chad's saying. He said we have a switch on them that will turn a light on the dash when they are deployed. Looky there, John. They're gonna offer a switch.
That's nice right there.
Have a light on your dash because that will get your attention when you're running that boat. You see a light on there, whoa. That's a good idea, Chad. I know y'all been thinking this stuff too because he said he's semi-retired. He told me, so he's got a lot of time invested in this stuff. So he's out of Oklahoma. I think that's where Chad's out of. There's old Zeke. He said thank you. I like old Zeke. I've talked to Zeke when he was at another place working. I'm not sure if he's still affiliated with him, but man, I would call him and say, man, I got to buy a cable to link my thing. He said, well, you're going to have to buy a 20-footer. I'm like, Lord, he helped me out a ton. I don't know if he's still affiliated with them, but he's one of those guys you can just, when you call, he answers. You're like, oh, I'm talking to Zeke. That's, it's cool.
Yeah.
Chad said he needs a buzzer. Maybe they'll put a collar around your neck, John, when you hit.
Yeah. It's like, hey, dummy.
Hey, my brother's got a lab that's a tracking dog, and it's highly trained. And all you got to do is buzz. Hey, it's buzz that collar. You ain't got to hit him. You just buzz it. Tommy. That's what Tommy and I were talking about. Talking my buddy Tommy. That's what he needs, a blinking red light. Check it out. That's what we were just talking about. I think that's a great idea. I don't know how it wires in, but hey, I guess it's just got a relay switch that makes something back there.
I wish they come up with a meter that would let you know how far up and down your power poles are. When you're. So I'm not constantly looking back to see if I got them in.
I think I had
a
guy had a
camera
pointing towards his power pole so he could.
Golly, that's a little much. Hey, that's a little much. There's old Mark Bolin. I seen him Saturday a few times. He was in there with us fishing. I think he weighed a fish in. I think he placed in it. So, Byron said, I need 2 warning lights. I had to replace a power pole or the pumps. Hey, man, it's bad, man. You get fired up catching fish, and you're all excited, and, man, you leave stuff down, and, I've done it. I've got that long rod the other day. I just kicked it right in the water. Thank God it floats, because I kicked it in the water. I was like, oh, I guess it does float. Because I'm rough on stuff.
Man, I need one for the front trolling motor too. I'll take off with it now. I'll be worried about where I'm going next.
Yeah, I spray.
This big wave coming across the front. Like,
spray.
You dummy.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny, man. I enjoy it though. And like I said, I laugh at myself more than anybody else laughs at me. So I promise you that. I'm gonna laugh at myself for sure. Oh man, let's see
Shane,
if I need.
I hate even to tell this story. So 2 boats ago, I had a Tarova, and I was pushing poles, and I had a buddy of mine. He called me. He said, "I'm ready to get on the boat with you," and I said, "That's I'll come pick you up from the ramp." Well, you pulling all those poles in, and that's a whole ordeal. Well, I get all them pulled in. I was decently close to where I was going, so I just idled over there to the bank, and I was just going to run the nose of my boat up on the bank and pick him up. Well, I had left that Tarova down in the water. I ripped the whole show off the front of the boat. I mean, it went over. And back then I had put it on myself, and that was probably the biggest mistake. But it pulled all those tapping screws up off the front of the boat and just rolled it over. And luckily, it just fell over onto the shore and didn't go in the water because I was close enough. Well, you talk about it.
We've all done it, man. Hey, like I said, I've done it chasing these silly fish. Like you said, you think about the next place you're going, and you got tunnel vision.
Hey, we hadn't even talked about the other boat malfunction from last Friday on Big Daddy's podcast when Joe Allen was live.
Oh man, hey, Lord. You get a chance to go on Getting Outdoors with Big Daddy Law or BDL. Get on there, and my co-angler and his wife fished with me Saturday, Joe Allen, and he was going live on Friday morning, and he's got a nice bay boat, a Blazer. It's a big boat. And he's turning sideways like this, fishing, talking to the camera, and he leans over, and hey, that sink went, and he dumped. And I wasn't laughing at first because I thought, man, he hurt himself. And Big Daddy started laughing so hard that I couldn't hold it anymore. I was like, and I heard Joe didn't cuss or nothing. I don't know how he didn't, but he stumbled. He said Travis done cut his bolts and sabotaged him.
Yeah, he said Travis done there cutting grass and sabotaged the pedal for his
I
boat.
sent it to John, guys. John was fishing, and he laughed for 10 minutes. I couldn't even talk to him.
I couldn't.
It was funny, man.
Every time I would think about it, I'd just start busting out laughing out loud.
Hey, I set the hook as a teenager at the river, and my big butt set the hook. The pole broke, and I fell on 9 rods and broke every one of them. 9 of my bass rods, just every one of them, just snapped.
What was bad was Shane had told me about it happening.
Yeah, so you already knew. You knew it was coming. I
was out there fishing. I just put my boat on spot lock, so I'm trying to watch the video and get to the point where it happened. Where he kept leaning over in the pedestal. I was like, all right, he's fixing it's about to happen. So like 3 or 4 times of him leaning over, it didn't happen. Then finally, when it did, it went. And
golly, as old country cousin Greg that was on the show, he's almost got 10,000 followers, John.
I saw that.
Keeping up with him. He's been doing good. He found a shell cracker a hole and he posted it and he made a video and there was like 30 cars parked there the next day. Poor old. He was like, I won't do that again. Everybody knew where he was.
I've quit posting pictures. You can't if you give away too much and they see you, it's over with.
Hey, yeah, exactly. I bet old country cousin Greg, he don't do that stuff no more. Oh, Corey said he's lost 3 pair of Costas, 2 iPhones in the last 3 years. I think, John, you lost a phone, didn't you?
Yep. I talked about it before. She went down on Live Scope.
Oh, that's right. We talked about it on the show, Corey. John said he looked on Live Scope and it was seesawing.
iPhone 12.
Oh, I remember that.
Bottom.
That was a couple shows ago, man. Hey, I jumped in at the farm one day. I was going to unstop a beaver dam, and I left my phone in my pocket, and I thought it was going to burn my leg. It was shorting out so bad by the time I got out of the water. Oh, man, that was funny. Corey's just laughing about it. But, John, I remember you telling that story. That was, like I said, if you can't laugh at yourself, hey, you can't just, like I said, I'm going to laugh at you, laugh with you, laugh at me, laugh at you. I enjoy it. That's what's good about crappie fishing. You know, a lot of bass guys, I love a lot of them, but they're so darn serious all the time. They're just, they're in the zone and serious. And
that day I ripped back to Rove off, my buddy said, well, I guess we're going to load the boat on up. I said, yeah, but it ain't going to be with fish. I said, we're going to load it up and go try to reattach this trolling motor.
Hey, I've had bearings go out, and I bought 2 bearings. They're taper bearings on these bigger boats. I think it's 2 3/8 and something. I forget what the taper is. And I bought 2 bearings in cases. For some reason, I bought this one that don't fit. And I got down there, some ain't no big deal, and change that bearing when we get back up there. I got up there and slid it on. It stopped. I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So then I had a flat tire on the way home. One of my lead springs cut my tires on my old boat. It was an adventure. Me and old Nick Duchok had. It was always something, man.
Shane, I got, speaking of dumb things I've done, so I've got a little boat I run around and I put it in anywhere I can put it in.
Right.
So I've got an older old Trex on it, and I had a protective coating, over it, and it was my live scope was cutting up a little bit. Well, right. Jessica and I, we go to a new spot, and I go to put the trolling motor in the water, and the trolling motor will go in the water. I said, what in the heck? So I'm up there just shoving down that bad boy. My transducer cable was
right. Let's talk about that.
In the bracket. And
in the bracket, your transducer cable for the live scope.
It cut the crap out of it. I mean, it didn't cut all the way through, but it ruined it. And we're going, all right, we say all that to say this. I know I've heard people talk about the transducer doctor, Joey Cook, on Facebook.
I'm friends with him on here. He keeps up with us.
So I sent him that transducer and that cable, and in less than a week, he got it back. I got it back today.
John sent me a picture, guys. He's not. Hey,
look at the job he did on that transducer.
There it is, right there. John cut that in half for his trolling motor last week. So.
And y'all, if y'all have a problem and you do something stupid like I did with your transducer, send it to him.
Hey, that's the goodest tip as you can get, because people's cutting them up. And, hey, those 32s are like gold. They're not making them no more. So you got to protect them. But, yeah, thanks to Joey Cook. Like I said, he got John going. So I'm gonna thank. Matter of fact, I'm gonna thank CT Ward Power Sports. Old Taylor and Jessica Ward down at CT Ward Power Sports, Camden, Alabama. They selling lawnmowers down there. Grass is growing. That Hustler is a tough lawnmower. They got a full line of sailboats, center consoles, hurricane deck boats, and Godfrey pontoons. Full service center right there in Camden. That 4-way stop sign there in Camden's kind of hurting them, but they're about to open that road back up. But they're great folks, man. I'd like to thank Taylor and Jessica. They've been sponsoring the show since we started. But they sell Hustler lawnmowers. Like I said, got a full lot of boats, man. Go down there and get you one. He'll hook you up, I promise you.
Hey, Shane, I just got to think about it. Zeke came on here. We're gonna have to have Zeke on here with us on the show.
Oh yeah,
Zeke.
He's saying, hey, if he ain't having fun and laughing, then he's going home. That's true, Zeke. That's the way I am, buddy. Like I said, if you're a negative type person, you ain't gonna want to hang around me because I've been shoveling a lot of stuff like doo-doo before, and I've had fun doing it because I'm just gonna make the best out of any situation. There's always humor in it. You can't dwell on bad stuff, and I'm not one of those persons. So you're right, Zeke.
Did you hear? I said we're gonna have to have Zeke on the show.
Yeah, we'll get Zeke. Oh, Country Cousin said, "Am I the only one?" Hey, John, he said, "Am I the only one that's throwing pliers in the water instead of the actual fish?"
No.
Oh, I got a good one.
Hey, I've done that too now.
I'm gonna let Jessica tell this.
Go ahead, Jess. You gotta tell it
about bush hooking when you throw the.
Y'all were running bush hooks for catfish, right?
Oh yeah, we've done it for years and years and years. Go ahead.
Instead of throwing like the bait back, I'll throw the fish back.
Just
get like sidetracked.
Yeah, instead of throwing the hook back in the water, she'll throw the fish back in the water, put the hook in the boat. I said, "What? I said, what are you doing?"
Hey, how many times you been cleaning fish though and put the rib cage in the pile and throw the fillet in the trash? You're like, man, come on, man. Hey, I'm not down with Jay. Jessica, we cleaned all those fish down there last year. 90 fish we caught in October last year. And Jessica ribbed every one of them while me and John was flying with them. She kept with us, so I ain't talking about her fish cleaning skills.
Thank you.
There's not many people can keep up with two men filleting fish and then they cutting rib cages out.
This is a good story right here. Mr. Lolly right here, he went on a trip with me the weekend before, and then me and my buddy Richard's coming out of Boga Cheetah. It's cold. The creek's flowing. We're coming down through there, and I see a nice Triton boat just floating away from the dock. From the launch. I was like, man. I said, ain't nobody in that boat. I said, I hope they ain't had a heart attack or something, And Richard goes, yeah, you better drive over. We drive over there, and I turned around. I didn't know it was Bill Lawley there. I said, oh, man, his boat done got away from him. And he said, well, I was about to jump in. I said, man, that current would have got you. So he put his boat in, and I don't know if he didn't tie it off or he tied it off and didn't tie it off well, but it went floating down the creek. We took the boat back to him, and I was like, hey, man, I'm not laughing at you. I promise you. So I've done it before.
Sorry, John.
Woo! You trying to jump in, John?
Oh boy. So
I'm glad we got to talk about these silly stories.
The high for that day was 40.
40.
And I run the boat up on this. I used to run up on this little floating dock, and it just stick. And I'd go back the truck in. Well, I back the truck in. I look out there. It's in the middle of the creek. And this is middle of winter. Up on Alabama, those creeks, you don't see anybody that time of the year. I said, there's only one thing for me to do. So I got down to my drawers, and I dove off in there. And about halfway, I thought I was going to lock up. I ain't going to lie to you, that cold. And I got and I promise you, it was probably 2 to 3 hours before I ever warmed up after swimming out there.
I done that hunting one time. We crossed the creek in a flat bottom and was hunting up there, and it was real cold. And a boat blew away, and we had to walk across that canal. It was this deep. Man, that cold water gets me. That Mr. Lawley said he unlatched it from the trailer, and he usually leaves them a little slack in it. I've done that. So, whoo, man, that's cold. Y'all got any more questions? I hope I didn't miss any questions. I'm looking up through here. So
Jessica's trying to help you.
I'm looking.
I know she's saying I'm policing. We get to talking and cutting up about stories, but like John was saying, this time of year, you blackfish are gonna get picky, guys. Your whitefish are going to get suspended in the channels on some flats not far from the channel. Once you find a pattern, really, and John, you'll have to, I don't know if you agree with me or not, once you find that late June, mid-June pattern, they're going to be there for the rest of the summer. Don't you think, John?
Absolutely.
They'll be there. And when you find those fish guys in that summer pattern, it might take you a little bit to break it down. But when you find them, I'm not going to say all of them bite, but you can catch fish consistently and move on and keep catching fish until you got you a good pile of fish. So,
hey, Shane, when is our Grenada trip we're going on? Is it July?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, that's right. Y'all going to the beach in June.
For Father's Day weekend, but we're all going to Grenada in July, and it'll be some of the same things. We'll just run, see fish, stop the boat, address the fish, try to catch them.
That's right. Jessica, not you, Jessica. Jessica Thompson just reminded me I got to share Caden photo on here before I get too caught up. I carried Randall and Caden fishing last. I think we went Sunday or Monday. We went Sunday. Let me add it on here. And man, we had a blast. That kid, he can fish now. He's a good kid. I'm gonna carry him down there this summer. I'm just gonna go by and scoop him up. And I don't think I got to get rid of some stuff. That gummit to post it, Jessica. I'm sorry, but it's on my page, guys, on Shane Jones Fishing. We caught a lot of fish that day. I got to get in here and clean some stuff out.
What is that, Keegan? What's Keegan? He said, what size casting rod?
Yeah, somebody's asking something. Keegan Moore, what size casting rod are you and John using? I use a 6 foot and a 6'6". John, what are you using nowadays?
I'm strictly throwing that 5 foot Outlaw. It's the little short butt rod, and I'm flipping anything you can imagine with it. I just love it. It's simple. If you want to come up to a dock, shoot it. You got a little short rod to shoot docks, cast a pile. You can do anything you want to do with that rod.
Yeah, that's a good. I got one, an Outlaw little 5 footer too. I used it yesterday. I caught some fish with it. I use, like I said, I like a shorter rod. I'm not saying whatever you're comfortable with, Keegan, casting. If the more accurate, the better this time of year. You don't want to waste any cast. You want to put it on those fishes and see how he's going to react and move on if he's not interested in biting. So I tell people that all the time. You can go get you a Zebco and a Snoopy rod, and you can catch fish with it. But if it's not balanced and you make accurate casts with it, it's not very efficient. And John will tell you, it's this time of year, you want to go in and see what that fish is going to do, his temperament, and see if he's going to bite or if he's going to go up and nudge your bait and put scent on and everything like that. So,
hey,
go ahead.
This is a big time of the year, y'all. If you flatline a black crappie, when I say flatlining, your bait's coming in, and he addresses it like this, and you ever drop that bait back down and you get him flat like this, it's not good. You want to keep his nose up and him chasing your bait up like
you want this. You want that tail drop, like you said, when his motor gets below his head. Remember how you say that? So.
If you ever flatline that crappie this time of year and it's a black crappie, more than not, or most of the time, excuse me, you're not going to catch that fish.
Right. He's saying, guys, that that fish is sitting there and you throw and he drops his old head. He's coming. You need to take that bait away from him. Don't stop that bait, because if you get him like this, you can forget it. Game over. It's cat and mouse. Once the mouse quits running, cat ain't interested. So I had some Saturday, John, actually hit right below the surface. They ran all the way up to, because I couldn't. But I'm putting garlic scent on there, that Posky's fire gel. I'm putting anything I can put on there to make them take that bait on in. So I'm trying everything. I can't remember what me and Carly was talking about today. She said, he's saying interested in hearing John's thoughts on what you and I talked about today concerning pulling up on fish. I can't remember. We talked about it today, and I can't remember what we talked about on the phone. He said he was going to ask me. I dang can't remember. I talked to about 3 or 4 people since then, Carly. That stuff done, whew, I can't remember what we talked about, but I'm sure we
pulling up on.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I think he's talking about how far off of them, or
yes, maybe that. I can't remember.
He'll comment.
Oh, here he goes. I remember now. Corey just reminded me. He was saying a guy told him, John, that a guy, not Corey, but somebody told him that he can look at the fish in a pile and tell if they're going to bite or not. And I told him, not unless they're above the brush pile, it's hard to tell, till you cast on them. What do you think, John?
Okay, so yesterday we came up on some piles, and those fish were tucked so deep in that thing, you almost wanted to vertical jig to get them out. Right. Now, I'll say this. If you've got some of those fish, there are always going to be some fish down in it. But if you've got those that are above it or sitting there,
that's what we talked about today,
2 foot above that pile, those you'll notice that first cast, it'll be like, here they come.
Yeah, they looking. Oh yeah, they're racing. They're got their attention.
They're up above that pile. Now, if you come up on that pile and you can see the tips of whatever brush it is, and they're tucked down in it, a lot of times it's going to be tougher.
Right.
But if you've got some that are stacked up above it, you're going to get those active feeders first. That's why.
Right.
That's why. Here's a good tip. When you make that first cast, you need to be perfectly downwind. Get that boat settled where it's not pushing in the pile or backing up. You need to look down at your mile per hour meter on your graph and have it at 0. So when you make that first cast, you're sitting there perfect, and you're making that perfect pull across the top of that pile or top of the whatever it is, school of fish. Make the first cast and that second cast and third cast perfect. That way you're getting those active fish to eat, and you're not getting them where they came up, you didn't do a good presentation, and they go back. Do it right the first couple times. That's when they're going to be the easiest to catch. Not when they've seen that jig come across 3 and 4 times.
That's right. Yeah, you got some hot fish. Like I said, they've always taught me go through the hot fish first and then go through the pile. See if you can get one to react out of there.
Yeah.
And if you get one out of that pile, I use weedless jigs like this jig here. I use weedless jigs where I can bang in that pile and see if I can get one to scoot out of the way or react. And maybe he'll chase me, maybe he won't. I mean, you don't ever know how they're going to act, because that's what's cool about crappie fishing.
Tell me that again.
You don't make me do that shake like that. But they will. They'll dart out of the way. But, hey, John, to tell you, those whitefish, and if you've seen live scope enough, it's awesome to watch those fish start doing a little shimmy when that bait's coming. They'll start looking for that bait. They're sitting there looking up for it. And that's how you know normally they fixing to hit that bait. You might not catch them, but they fixing to make a run at it.
Hey, total buttholes, get over the pile and throw that trolling motor over the pile and prop wash all those buttholes out of it, and then try to once they run out of it.
Flushing turkeys
what's
in
the
the
worst
fall.
case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? I mean, you're not going to catch one. You already weren't catching them. So blow them out of the pile and try to catch them after you blown them out.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's what Corey's saying. Turn them on the side like a. Hey, I forgot about this. We forgot Shiloh's tip. We forgot all about this when he had him on the show.
Throw a brick in the pile.
Shiloh actually throws a darn brick in the pile. Throws a brick. He's got bricks in his boat now. and he catches them when they come back. Hey, yesterday, if I'd had a bucket of bricks, I'd have thrown every one of them. I'd have thrown bricks till somebody would have thought I was crazy. But that's a great. Hey, it worked for Shiloh. He told me. Yeah. He said he would spook them out of there and let them come, because there's stuff out there trying to eat these crappie guys. There's big yellow cats, big catfish, big gar. Everything's trying to eat those. Those even 10, 11-inch fish. And that's a great tip. Get you a brick. Corey,
if they already not eating, why not let them sit there all happy in their little home? Blow them out. And say, get outside the pile.
Guys bass fishing, they used to take their boat and cut circles around a point and then start fishing. You're like, so I forgot about the brick trick. Appreciate it, Shiloh. I sure forgot about that. That's a good tip.
Hey,
oh man,
we were going to ask if anybody recommended a good
yes,
dry fit
look,
shirt.
yeah, that's right. This is Patrick Stone's Grenada Tackle shirt. We're looking for a brand like a Wick Moisture shirt like this, a long sleeve or short sleeve, where we can put CrappieKast on them and put them out there. If y'all know anybody that can do that for us, just a shirt. If I can,
shirt.
The brand
type of shirt.
The brand shirt, whatever's inside the back here. I cut the tag out of this one, but if you can find a certain brand and get it and get it to me by messenger, call me if you got my number. We're gonna try to get some CrappieKast shirts like this. Like I said, this Grenada Tackle. These are fine shirts to wear this time of year.
And we have our booth at the Crappie Expo. We're gonna try to have some shirts there.
Yeah, and Jessica's talking about getting some tank tops. One of her friends, and I sent her the logo for you ladies out there. They'll probably go pretty quick. So, like I said, we appreciate everybody sharing and all the comments and everything, and 50 people watching the show, and we're gonna put that merch out there, and hopefully people don't mind. I got some more hats coming, but we're gonna try to get some shirts because everybody likes shirts. So, I'm trying to think if we didn't miss any questions. I'm still laughing about the brick. Oh man, Destin's making fun of my little shimmy, Jessica. You beat him to it, he said. When I was getting out. Hey, they do that though. They do. Hey, they'll especially down there in that shallow water where I'm fishing. They'll jerk out of the way in a heartbeat. Yeah, holding. That's what we're talking about. Holding those ones with a hood on them. I have several of those, and without buying a hook or something expensive, we want to try to get a name, not a name brand, but a type of shirt where we can put the logo on it. So
a decent shirt, yeah.
A decent shirt. We don't want anything cheap, but we want a good shirt. Like, I don't even know what brand this is that Patrick uses, but it's pretty good. They make some soft one. Columbia makes some shirts like that. I could get a Columbia, but if y'all know a brand of shirts, y'all let us know. Destin said he's got a couple shirts from the folks at Vapor Apparel. We'll check those out. Thanks, Destin. We'll look into those, man. We sure will. I got to thank, almost forgot Alpha Plumbing here. Old D, me and him went fishing yesterday evening. And old Steve from One Call up there, he's still offering that discount, 10%, mentioning CrappieKast on your heating and air and your service work. So they're good guys. I talked to both of them today, matter of fact. So
how many people are planning on coming to the Crappie Expo?
Yeah, the Crappie Expo, guys. It's coming. It's September the 21st, I forget when it is. I'll have to look it up. It's coming in September.
Oh, I mean, it's a unique opportunity for us to have it this close in Birmingham.
Oh, yes, it's going to be right in Birmingham, guys. It's been in Missouri.
It's a good ways off from us. If you live up that way, it's great for you. But we're getting afforded a unique opportunity to have it right here in Alabama, and it's like the National Deer Expo for crappie fishing. If you haven't heard about it, but you definitely need to come. We're going to be there and shooting the breeze and talking anything y'all want to talk about.
That's exactly right.
Shane and I, and we're going to probably try to have whoever wants to come in just hang out with us.
Yeah, sit down with us, and hey, we'll try to go live some. And if we get an interview with, especially if our buddy old Eric Cagle's leading that baby, we're gonna get him sit down with us, hopefully. So
yeah.
Oh, Michael Smith, I seen where you said he seen me at. Where did I see him? Up here? Michael said he seen me at. Where is it at? He seen me at Bob Sykes Friday. I didn't see you, Michael. Should have said, "Come, hey man, You should have stopped in and stopped me next time you see me, Michael. I appreciate you tuning in, buddy. Yeah, man, this hour blows by. You get to laughing about dumb stuff we do. It goes by quick, son. We can tell stories all night, man. It's done got dark up there with John and Jessica. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We're not going to keep anybody longer, but we'll be back next Thursday as promised. And like I said, I want to appreciate the new sponsors. We got Andalusia Marine right down there in Andalusia, right down in John's area. If you have any questions about them, how you get in touch with John. And we got Mr. Chad Clifton at Power Breaks, the Game Changer, right there, he jumped on board with us. I'm looking forward to putting these on my boat next week and testing them out and trying to make a video. They're built fine. I'm ready to put them to the test. So
we probably can put those new sponsors together, and they probably can complement each other.
Yeah,
and
true.
Luke Green and Power.
That's exactly right. Hey, I've talked to Chad, man. He's the most down to earth guy, man. He's really trying to get all that. They've been doing testing on those things, and he's trying to get them right. So I think Zeke's in there with them too. I'm pretty sure he is. So, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. Look at there. There's old Patrick Stone. I hadn't talked to him in a while since he was on the show with us. Him and old
Shallow.
I've seen we fished a couple tournaments up there. I appreciate you turning in, Patrick. We're going to shut this thing down. I appreciate everybody. Everybody, man, we've had 45, 50 people on here since we've been started. Gillidan shirts are pretty good. I've seen that.
They are.
So,
They are.
Thank you, Corey, for tuning in, buddy. I appreciate it. I talked to Corey yesterday. He was trying to help me out on them stupid, stubborn fish at Bankhead. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate the new sponsors. Appreciate the sponsors we've had. And they've been good to us. Stay on here, John, and I'll let everybody go. See y'all next Thursday.